the Mail has one of the livelier news stories on the back page. Get me Iniesta. This is David Moyes trying to fill his midfield problem. It's not wholly new, but it's interesting that he's focused on this, the Barcelona, one of the greatest players in the world, as a possibility. There's also been speculation about Lionel Messi. Can Barcelona be breaking up this great side? I do hope not.
Now, whenever we see stories like this, get me Iniesta, is Iniesta's contract coming up? And is this something that his agent is pushing? Because this happens a lot.
Yes. I mean, there have been rumblings of discontent, which, as you know, can mean one of two things. One, the player wants a bigger contract at Barcelona, as happened in the case of Cesc Fabregas, who was supposed to be coming to Manchester United. I do hope Manchester United are not being used to improve the wages of Barcelona players. But yes, he either wants a new contract, he's 29, Iniesta, or he genuinely wants a new challenge. You know, people do find coming to England attractive, and I often wonder if the Barcelona or Real Madrid player gets bored with basically goal counts against half the teams in the league rather than competitive matches, as you get here, particularly this season in the English Premier League. So that, you know, that's an interesting story.
All for you. And Terry, the news from Barcelona is that Andoni Zubizarreta said that they should be tying up Andres Iniesta's contract before Christmas. Are you convinced that he will be signing and that they will get him signed up in the long term?
I never thought I would say this, that I always believed Iniesta would stay, like Xavi, like Puyol, for the entirety of his playing career at Barcelona. But the way that things have panned out in this, particularly this season, where he's been on the bench or if he's played, he's been brought off, the fact that they're negotiating over a contract, which is unlike Barcelona. In the past few years, we've just heard a statement put out that Puyol signed a new contract, Piqué has extended his contract, Lionel Messi has extended his contract 3 or 4 times in recent years. And it's slightly unusual for them to, the negotiations to be dragging on a little bit. He's an iconic footballer for Barcelona. I just wonder now at 29 whether there's a hint of doubt from both parties that, from Barcelona's point of view, they can certainly get a lot of money to buy Andres Iniesta. From Iniesta's point of view, he might fancy a new challenge. Times have changed at Barcelona. The Pep Guardiola era is well and truly in the background now. Tito Villanova carried it on to a certain extent, now Tata Martino. And I just wonder whether there's a slight inkling from Iniesta that he possibly is open to a different challenge. It would have to be in a different league. So I still think 90% of me thinks that he will stay, in all probability, at Barcelona. But there's a little doubt, and there's never been a doubt before, but there's a little doubt now that he maybe just might fancy a new challenge.
And what level of club are we talking about that he would go to? It would still have to be one of the great powers.
Yeah, it would have to be one of the giants of European football, therefore you are too. And I think that would be his main ambition. It won't be based around contracts and finances. He's been handsomely paid by Barcelona throughout his career. I think he'll go for the sporting challenge, the football challenge. So he will probably look to go to a league where he might think it's possible a club might be interested in paying the money that Barcelona will want. He will only have a year left of his contract after this season, but he's not one of those players where clubs are going to maybe possibly think we'll let him run his contract down or we'll only offer a certain amount because he's only got a year left. He's going to be coveted player. I mean, it's, as I said, Manchester United would be one that I'm sure would love to see him at Old Trafford. Bayern Munich, Pep Guardiola. I mean, he is, I have to admit, one of my favourite players. And I think he's a fantastic footballer. Barcelona will, I'm sure, do their utmost to keep him, but he might just fancy a new challenge. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but anyway, but there is a slight doubt, which is we've never had before from one of the main players at Barcelona.
And there's no sense that his powers are fading. He would still be good enough to play for one of these massive teams.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's absolutely brilliant. I love watching Iniesta play. Barcelona have to keep him, in my opinion. He's pivotal to all that they want to try and do. But as I say, there's a slight little doubt. Only a time I've never had that before. Now I think Victor Valdez is his closest friend at the club. He's looking to move on in the summer to pastures new. There might be one or two changes elsewhere in the ranks at Barcelona. Dani Alves is a player that consistently every summer is linked with a move away from Barcelona. Puyol may be coming to the end of his career, so Iniesta might just look upon it and perhaps think, you know, I've achieved everything I wanted to at Barcelona. There's a new challenge for me. If it's going to happen, it has to happen now before he turns 30. It's going to be interesting, huh? But they have to wrap this up pretty soon, otherwise it's going to carry on and carry on. I would imagine they're right. If it's going to be